And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We got a great show for you today. As always, we are live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/Takes by Fans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of our shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And if you just want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. So however you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered multiple ways. Alrighty, folks, today's a big old Saturday, the very last day before that full slate of Sunday NFL games. Y'all remember the ones, y'all remember the fours, y'all remember the late game, the 8 o'clock Monday night or Sunday night football game. It all kicks off tomorrow. We just have to make it one more day. So, obviously, we're going to be talking about the stories of the day today, and then as well, we are going to just be putting out kind of our finishing touches on our predictions and expectations list that we started on Wednesday's show. Just get every last second thought that we have, our prediction, our expectations for what we want to see, what we need to see, what we are expecting to see, what we are predicting that we may see this season. Get them all on the record, so at the end of the season, midway in the season, or just throughout the season, we can keep tabs on them to see, is our thinking right? Everything that we've kind of been talking about in the offseason, are we finally seeing it? Are these rookie head coaches, rookie quarterbacks, rookie players living up to what kind of we are expecting to see out of them to call it a successful season this year? So we'll finish that up, get every single kind of last thought written down on the record before the big day tomorrow. So let's just jump right into it with the stories of the day. And the first one up, man, oh man, the Cowboys, man, sheesh. Yes, they were competitive in Thursday night's game against the Bucs that they ended up losing, unfortunately. But I mean, man, oh man, now they've got injuries on injuries and outs on outs. So we know that Zach Martin, the offensive lineman, was out for the Cowboys, but that was only for COVID-19. So we should be back here for week 2. Unfortunately, another lineman is going to be out. Offensive tackle La'el Collins has been suspended for 5 games for, I believe it was like PED use. I think I can bring it up officially right here. Here we go. They suspended the Dallas Cowboys offensive lineman La'el Collins 5 games for violating the substance abuse policy. So unfortunate there. But, so now 5 more weeks without their starting offensive lineman. And now, do they run the ball more? Now, this is on the left side. Zeke said, hey, I like to run on the right side. And that definitely showed in the game because Zeke only ran for 9 carries. So hopefully the running game can still be here over the next 5 weeks while La'el Collins is suspended here for the Cowboys. But still, at the end of the day, I mean, this Cowboys team, are they ever going to be 100% on the field together? I mean, geez. And then we get this, a wide receiver, Michael Gallup, their number 3 wide receiver, is going to miss week 2 with and potentially multiple week with an injury. Do we get what his injury is? Michael Gallup, where art thou? All right, Michael Gallup will miss week 2 versus the Chargers with a multi-week injury. Gallup exited Thursday's loss to the Bucs early with what the team called a left ankle injury. So, offensive tackle out 5 weeks, La'el Collins being suspended. Michael Gallup, multiple weeks out with a little ankle injury that he's recovering from. I mean, and they needed Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup had a real solid performance there in Thursday night's game. Definitely complimented Amari Cooper, who was the clear-cut number 1. Definitely complimented CeeDee Lamb, who was the clear-cut number 2. And, that great number 3. That's why you need depth in this league. I mean, if you have an A1 tier 1 at number 1 wide receiver, if you have an A1 tier 2 wide receiver in CeeDee Lamb at the number 2 position, and then you have an A1 tier 3 wide receiver at the number 3. I mean, that just makes it so hard on the defense to cover everything. A la Dak having 400 plus passing yards and 72% completion percentage. I mean, folks, you've got to give it up to his weapons. Obviously, he was throwing great balls most of the night. He threw a couple of questionable balls to CeeDee Lamb, but overall, Dak was looking absolutely fantastic. But now the offensive line is not whole, and their wide receiver core is not whole. So So this is just bad news on top of bad news. They were competitive in Thursday night's game. Unfortunately, they lost. That's the bad news there. And now all these injuries and suspensions and just not being 100% whole and collective offensively, defensively, is this Cowboys team going to be a ticking time bomb? Is it going to blow up? Is it going to explode like it kind of did last season when Dak went down? The defense was already bad, but really when Dak went down, it just kind of seemed like everybody was phoning it in at that point, and they really weren't able to win any games after that. Is this what it's going to be? Competitive week after week, maybe losing, maybe squeaking out some, nice close wins, but kind of at the midway point. If a big injury happens, or if everybody is just kind of, when one person comes back, two more go out. When they get back, two more go out. And at just some point, everyone's just like, this season's over and they give up. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't want that to happen, but it's something that we are going to have to kind of keep an eye on as the season progresses. So just unfortunate news here for the Cowboys, especially coming off that very, very close loss when everybody, and even including us, saying that, this Cowboys team shouldn't even be, down in the dumps about that loss because they were competitive, because they were looking so good. But now the shot to the wide receiver, the shot back to the offensive line, we'll see how they're able to manage come week 2 against the Chargers. Alrighty, in this, let's go on to this next story. And this one caught me by surprise, and hey, I absolutely love it, folks. What do we say all the time about this Colts team? We love their running back by committee, Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack, and Nyheim Hines. And I was a little scared about Nyheim Hines going into this season because I was like, are they going to rock with 3 running backs? Are they going to get rid of them? Are they not going to sign him to an extension? Are they going to trade him? Because we have seen, the Ravens need a running back. That could have been definitely a source to go to the Colts trade for a solid running back because they've got so much depth there. I'm sure, the Colts would have been like, hey, if the compensation is right, we'll definitely give you, number 2, number 3, whichever one, Marlon Mack, Nyheim Hines. But the Colts and running back Nyheim Hines have agreed to terms on a 3-year, $18 million extension that includes $12 million guaranteed, and I absolutely love that. We love these running backs here with the Colts, and that's why we are big on this Colts team, is because of this depth chart. Jonathan Taylor, who is a 1,000-yard running back, Marlon Mack, and this is really interesting. After the extension, Nyheim Hines actually goes up to number 2 in the depth charts, where Marlon Mack was kind of number 2, I believe, all off season. Last time I checked, anyway, Marlon Mack was kind of the number 2, and I kind of regard Nyheim Hines as the number 3. But if Nyheim Hines is going to step up and be the number 2 running back, hey, I've got no problem with that. We love all these running backs here. So, Jonathan Taylor, 1,000 yards last season, 1,100, absolutely fantastic. Marlon Mack, definitely another solid option out here. Missed a lot of games last season. He was out. But I want to go to his other seasons. I mean, 1,000-yard rusher in 2019, 900 yards in 2018. So once again, these are potential tier 1 running backs in this league, Marlon Mack and Jonathan Taylor. And then we have Nyheim Hines, who, when we look at his stats, I mean, he's not putting up, 1,000 yards like Marlon Mack and Jonathan Taylor are, but he has never had the option to be the number 1 on this team. He's always been splitting the carries with Marlon Mack and then Jonathan Taylor. He's always kind of been, second fiddle to them, which is not a bad thing. We're not knocking Nyheim Hines for that. That's kind of a role, and Nyheim Hines is a little bit better of a pass-catching running back, kind of that dual threat ability right there. And once again, that's why we love this Colts team, because they have versatile running backs right here. I compare this Colts running team to last year's Ravens running team, where it was the best in the league. I think they ran for like 3,000 yards collectively, and they could definitely do this year by the trio of running backs, especially with Carson Wentz's potential injury that's may and should arise. If you're just looking at statistics and all that, the injury should arise this season. We're hoping it doesn't. Truly, we're knocking on wood on that. But I mean, Carson Wentz, being a game manager here for the Colts, I mean, the Colts don't need Carson Wentz to come in and be a Tom Brady or an Aaron Rodgers. Hey, you have to go out and win us all these games because we're lackluster on our weapons offensively, or lackluster defensively, anything like that. No, they're really tight in literally every single possession. This is a plug-and-play team, quarterback-wise. And, Philip Rivers didn't get it done, and we believe Carson Wentz can, but he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to throw for 5,000 yards and, 40, passing touchdowns for them to be successful this season. No, you just need him to, fill like a Ryan Tannehill, Baker Mayfield-esque role and let everybody else just do it. This is going to be a true team collaborative effort where literally every position is playing like a game manager type role just because of the collective talent they have on this team. So Nyheim Hines, 3 years in the league, going into his fourth with this contract extension. Love it. His rushing yard totals 300 yards year one, 200 yards year two, and back to 380 yards just last season. But what is so great about him is his dual threat ability, like we said. And look at these receiving numbers. Year one, 425 yards. Year two, 320. Year three, 482. So his grand total yards from scrimmage, 700 yards year one, 500 yards year two, and 862 yards last season. So this man definitely deserves this money. I'm glad that the Colts are keeping him around, and I'm glad that they are truly going to be a running back by committee running group right here, which is going to take pressure off of Carson Wentz and once again open up the passing game because you've got three great running backs that are fresh legs every single down. Hey, all right, Jonathan Taylor, he starts. All right, down number 2, Marlon Mack's coming in. Down number 3, Nyheim Hines is coming in. We pick up the first down. Jonathan Taylor's back in on first down. Marlon Mack's back in on second down. Oh, we picked it up on second down. Nyheim Hines gets the first down touch. And then Jonathan Taylor's in on second down. Oh, we picked up the first down. Bingo, bango. Marlon Mack, he's on the first down. Oh, they picked up the first down. Now we got Jonathan Taylor back on the first down. I mean, that's really what it's going to be because that's what the Ravens kind of did for the most part last season, cycling through J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, Mark Ingram. And then it definitely helps that you have Lamar Jackson. Carson Wentz definitely can't be a Lamar Jackson quarterback. That's not what he does. But you've got 3 great running backs out here. So hopefully the offensive play calling is evenly distributed between the run and passing game. Not like Thursday Night Football this week, Colts Bucks, where they were both just slinging it around. I think Dak Prescott had like 58 attempts. I think Tom Brady had 45 to 50 attempts. I mean, they were just slinging it around. Ezekiel Elliott only left with 9 carries. I mean, we can't split 9 carries between 3 running backs. What are you, crazy? Yeah, 3 is good, but I don't need, 3 by everybody. I need, big numbers. I want to see 10 by everybody. Give me 30 runs a game, at least, at minimum. I'll take 10 rushes by every one of these for, 50 yards, and we're at 150 yards total rushing, if not more, and then everyone's catching the ball out of the backfield and scoring points. I'm all about it. So I was surprised, but I'm gladly surprised waking up to this news that this man gets signed, or just, not waking up because this broke kind of midday yesterday. But yeah, Nyheim Hines back with the Colts, extended 3 more years. Go get it done. And I just want to quickly watch a little bit of a highlight package by our man Nyheim Hines, just to give y'all an idea, because I do think he kind of slipped under the radar. I don't think anybody kind of really knows what this Colts team running game is going to be able to do. I'm sure Colts fans do. I don't know if it gets a lot of play in the national media. I've never seen the national media talk about Nyheim Hines. We talk about him all the time because we are big believers in him, and we know what he does. We see what he does. And so let's just roll this tape real quick. We're not going to watch the entire thing, but let's just see what he does right here. Here we go, catching out of the backfield. Look at this. I mean, this is Phillip Rivers throwing this ball. I mean, freaking high as heck, get him into space. It's good, and he catches it, and look at that spin move, and then that's a touchdown. I mean, bingo, bango. Look at this man's explosiveness, that quick, that speed, and then that finesse of the nice little juke spin to avoid that defender, and then oh my God, the man's a gymnast. Oh, I didn't know the man was a gymnast like this. Look at that back handspring into whatever that is. I don't know, a flip. It's something good. I don't know what you call that. Spiral flip. That's nice. Real good. So not only is Nyheim Hines a great running back, dual threat running back, the man isn't a straight up gymnast. This man is athletic. Ooh, he did a little PA. What is it? A PA where you turn or something? I don't know. Folks, I don't do gymnastics or dancing, but this man does, and this man's fantastic. So Nyheim Hines, yes sir. All right, here we go. Basically in the red zone right here from the 11-yard line, just takes it right up the middle, and that's a touchdown. Sheer speed, size, strength. He can catch it. He can run it up the middle, off the right tackle, off the left side. A screen route, whatever it is, a wheel route, whatever it is. The man's going to get open, folks. Love it. Here we go, back in the red zone here, and there it is, a setup running back screen. Blockers are all right there, and all he has to do is just run it in, easy peasy. Another catch out of the backfield here on 2nd and 1. Boom, boom, picks up the first down for 3 yards. We'll take that. 2nd and 9 again, little bit of a setup screen, and once again, just going for about 8 yards, very, very close to the first down. Here we go, back in the red zone, over the middle of the field, just running a regular route, and it's 3rd and 10, a little short, but hey, still solid work there. All right, here we go, Andy's on the punt return. Oh, look at this man go on the punt return. About 10 yards on the punt return, love it. All right, another run, this time up the left side, and once again, 10 yards. So, I mean, folks, are you getting an idea what this man can be? He doesn't need to be a Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, anything like that, because they already have Jonathan Taylor. You just need a serviceable, great option there out of the backfield, and this is your number 2, number 3 option. Watch this setup screen here. Here we go, back in the red zone. Blocking was okay, but gets about 5 yards. All right, we'll end it on this one. Against the Broncos, deep in their own territory from their own 8-yard line, up the middle, boom, 10, 12 yards, bingo, bango. Let's watch this one. This one's 5 wide. He's lined up at the bottom of the screen right here. Boom, there we go. 5 yards, avoids the defender, and rushes for another 8 to 10 yards after that. Yes, sir, yards after contact. The man does not go down easy. Just look at this one, 3rd and 13. He gets all except maybe half a yard out of that one, but that was all him there. And then there it is. So he can run, he can catch, he can do it all. We'll end it on this one this time. Here we go. Deep route. Oh, he can even go one-on-one all the way down. Look at this, is 30 yards. He's a route running for 30 yards just to fade down the field on a one-on-one matchup. And he burned him. Look at this. This is about half a yard of separation. That's real good, man. That's a running back. He's only, 5'9"? What do we got here by height? 5'9", 196. I mean, this is Nyheim Hines, folks. Recognize the name. Respect the name. Nyheim Hines, folks. Go get it done, kid. Go get it done. You just got the extension. The team is Super Bowl bound, Super Bowl ready. And hopefully Nyheim Hines, he's got a ring at the end of the year. Super Bowl champion. Love the signing. Love the signing. All right, let's talk about another running back that's coming back this season, and he's real gosh dang good. This is the cream of the crop, and especially when we're talking about dual threat running backs like Nyheim Hines. I mean, this is the Mac Daddy. This is the king. This is who his poster, I'm sure, is plastered all over Nyheim Hines' wall, because this is what you want to be. You want to be Christian McCaffrey for the Panthers. Obviously didn't play last season because of the injury, and he's back this season, hopefully back into his prime form. Panthers offensive coordinator Joe Brady says, quote, Christian McCaffrey is ready to be Christian McCaffrey again. And, for those of you living under a rock, I don't know if there's anybody that doesn't know about these stats, but we're going to say them anyway. What does looking like Christian McCaffrey look like? Well, let's just read you these numbers in 2019, because they are just absolutely fantastic. So he had 1,387 rushing yards alone, 1,300 rushing yards alone, with 15 rushing touchdowns alone. But then we've said the man's a dual threat running back. What does that mean? He can run and he can catch. Y'all know how many receiving yards he put up in 2019 with the 1,387 rushing yards? Well, he also put up 1,005 receiving yards for a grand total of 2,392 yards, total yards from scrimmage. The man put up 2,300 total yards. Absolutely fantastic. Derrick Henry, on the other hand, puts up 2,000 yards on the ground alone. But geez Louise, 2,300 yards. I'll take the total yards. Led the league in yards from scrimmage in 2019. Absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, he couldn't build off of that season because of the injury. Injured last season, only played 3 games. Back full 100%, and this is what this isn't even a ceiling. I'm sure he can go above 2,300 yards. In 2018, he had 1,900 total yards, 1,000 rushing yards, and 867 receiving yards. He's just been getting better every single season. And, this season he should be right back at his old form and ready to rock and be even better than this 2019 performance out here. So let's see what offensive coordinator Joe Brady is saying about Christian McCaffrey and how he's looking and what we should be seeing out of him come week 1. All right, what do we get? All right, here we go. Brady is confident McCaffrey will be the same multi-purpose phenom who tailed back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing and 100 catches. Says, quote here, Christian McCaffrey is ready to be Christian McCaffrey again. Alrighty, that was the same quote we read. Got to get something a little bit more in depth here. So let's go to this next quote. Let's read this lead up. Darnold and the Panthers open the 2021 campaign against the quarterback's former team, which now has 2021 draft number 2 pick Zach Wilson at the reins. The storyline has drawn interest for the Sunday showdown, but McCaffrey's return is most certainly worthy of marquee status. His resurgence will inspire a turnaround from the 5-11 fate that befell the Panthers last season. Says, quote, there were limitations on what you could do without Christian. I'm not necessarily saying that as an excuse, but just the reality of the time we all had with each other. And there are certain elements that Christian can do that not a lot of football players can do. And that is true, folks. I mean, last season, it was Mike Davis rushing for the Panthers last season. Now he's on the Falcons because Christian McCaffrey's back. It's like, all right, Mike Davis, thanks for what you did. It wasn't anything spectacular. It wasn't really anything that we could really sink our teeth into, unfortunately. But, I mean, yeah, we're going with Christian McCaffrey over Mike Davis 100%. I mean, let's just bring up with what Mike Davis did last season. It was like 600 rushing yards and not even close to the receiving numbers that we're used to. But yeah, here we go. Mike Davis, his best rushing season, which was good, but it's still like, you know, this is his ceiling. That's why we don't like him on the Falcons and really wished the Falcons would have gotten Le'Veon Bell before the Ravens sweep them up, or even right now, go get Lamar Miller, who's on the market. You know, Devontae Freeman and Devontae Freeman and Latavius Murray also picked up by the Ravens. I just don't think this is the right running back to go with for Atlanta. But, you know, Arthur Smith's going to do what he wants, and this is who he thinks is going to help this team. So we'll give him the benefit of the doubt and assume he can make him work. But we need a 1,000-yard season from Mike Davis that we've never gotten before. We'll see if he's up for the task this year in Atlanta. But last season, like we were saying, 642 rushing yards for the Panthers. He had 373 receiving yards for a grand total of 1,015 yards. So overall, he put up 1,000, which is okay. We just really want to see 1,000 yards, either rushing or receiving. Give us that definitive number, you know, so we can truly, you know, see your talent. You know, he's just kind of an average-ish dual threat running back. I take Nyheim Hines over Mike Davis, and that's no disrespect to Mike Davis, but, you know, Nyheim Hines is better. So, you know, if you're going to be kind of a middle-of-the-road, you know, dual threat back, it's like maybe pick a lane to try to excel in. We'll see. So Mike Davis is putting up nowhere near what Christian McCaffrey does. So obviously the overall production of the offense for Carolina last season was just naturally bound to decline, especially bringing in a rookie head coach in Matt Rule and then a new quarterback in Teddy Bridgewater, who was serviceable, had, I believe, 3 1,000-yard receivers last season, which was fantastic. That's why we didn't really love the move to get off of Teddy Bridgewater for Sam Darnold. We don't think that was really an equal trade, but we'll see what Sam Darnold can do now that he's got Christian McCaffrey in the backfield. So they're all ready for Christian McCaffrey to return to normal form, and I'm all about that. You know, we go a year without Christian McCaffrey, without being able to see him. Now I want to see him even more. So let's see what he can do this season, but everything seems to be good. He's looking good. He's looking solid, and he should be returning to vintage 2,300 total yard form, which is dangerous for the league, folks. All right. Next story up here, and I mean, you just have to say this, right? I mean, let's just say this so we could talk about it, but here we go. There's an article right here that we are going to read into. We haven't read it yet. I want to see what they're saying about Josh Allen. I mean, geez Louise, but here's this article. Despite his strong showing, the evidence suggesting Josh Allen is due for regression is powerful. Now, of course, there's going to be a little regression here from Josh Allen because his stats last season were so gosh dang impressive. I mean, when we're talking about pure perfection from the quarterback standpoint, I mean, gosh dang, folks, this is real gosh dang close to absolute perfection. perfection throwing the football last season. So, of course, there's going to be a little bit of natural regression, and that's not because Josh Allen is bad or is regressing. It's he set the bar so gosh dang high. I don't even know if you could do better than this overall totality-wise. So let's remind y'all what Josh Allen did last season that was so, oh my goodness, amazing, surprising, because we all know his first 2 years, nothing great, not even throwing 60% completion percentage, so it's like we're not even looking at you at that point. But last season for Josh Allen was so incredible, and we gush about it all the time here on the show. I absolutely love it. I mean, this is probably one of my favorite stat lines to even talk about. It's so gosh dang good. But here we go. Josh Allen from last season, 69% completion percentage. Absolutely fantastic, folks. Fantastic. I think only two other quarterbacks had a better completion percentage. One was Aaron Rodgers at 70%, and then another quarterback who maybe Deshaun Watson threw like 72%, something crazy. So Josh Allen, I mean, this is fantastic. If you throw for 69% completion percentage consistently, you're going to be definitely top 5, maybe even top 3 quarterbacks in this league. No debate. 4,500 yards, 4,544 passing yards. Absolutely fantastic. Anything more than 4,000 is fantastic. Really, anything more than 4,200 yards is really, really, really freaking great. 5,000 yards is that exceptional season that really only 10 quarterbacks have ever done ever. So 4,500 is absolutely immaculate here by Josh Allen. And then his touchdown to interception ratio is absolutely perfection. 37 passing touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio, very, very close to 4. And, basically, this is the maximum number of interceptions we want to see. We really don't want to see any quarterback throwing more than 10 in a season, and he's right there at that 10 mark. We can respect that 100%. So Josh Allen had an amazing season overall. I want to bring up Aaron Rodgers' stats very quickly just to compare it, because I want to see, is Aaron Rodgers able to kind of put up great? I mean, that's a great stat line right there. That is fantastic. So we know Aaron Rodgers has great stat lines, but does he do them like again and again and keep on getting better, or does he have like a really great season, a slight decline, and then right back to another great season off that slight decline? So let's compare his stats quickly to Aaron Rodgers, and then we're going to get into that article, because what are you saying? What are the stats that you're bringing up? What is the kind of because what do they say here in the lead up to the article? The evidence. What is the evidence that Josh Allen is going to regress? Because he only played 3 seasons, 2 were bad, 1 was absolutely off the charts. So, of course, if you're just looking at that, then yeah, some natural regression. But I want to see what they're saying in this article, because, of course, there would just be some natural regression. That's so gosh dang great. It's hard to maintain that back to back for even more than 1 season. So, let's get up Aaron Rodgers' stats quickly. I want to see what they're saying in that article. Very, very interested in seeing what they're saying in that article. Saved it for the show, because that's what we do here. Live reactions on everything. So we don't come in with pre-planned facts to argue our point. We talk about everything here, and we make our point on everything. We make our final take on everything, the full body of work. But here we go. Aaron Rodgers. Let's find like a 69% completion percentage season, because that's what Josh Allen is kind of up against here. So we had a 71% completion percentage, but that was in 2007 when he only played 2 games. It didn't even start, so we can't even really count that. Here we go. I mean, folks, Aaron Rodgers has never had a 69 or better completion percentage season until last season. So that's when Josh Allen had it. So if you're going to use that as evidence, and that is something that we are going to keep an eye on, the fans in the stands, no fans in the stands for really the majority of the season last season because of COVID. So inflated completion percentage numbers. So Aaron Rodgers had his best. Josh Allen had his best. We'll see if the fans in the stands lower these numbers. So besides 70% completion percentage by Aaron Rodgers, his next highest was 68% completion percentage. He threw for 4,600 yards. Josh Allen threw for 4,500. He threw for 45 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. That's absolutely fantastic. So this is kind of a great season. It's better than Josh Allen's overall, but it's still very, very similar and comparable. They went 14-1 that season. That's fantastic. Jeez. But then the follow-up year, a little bit of a slight decline, a slight step back because that season by Aaron Rodgers in 2011 was so gosh dang great. The following year, 2012, 67% completion percentage. Took a full percentage point backwards in completion percentage. 4,200 yards, 400 less yards in 2012. 39 touchdowns, 6 less touchdowns, and then 8 interceptions, 2 more interceptions. So, yeah, we can maybe expect slight decline like this by Josh Allen. This is kind of the decline of Josh Allen I am expecting right here. From Aaron Rodgers' 2011 and 2012 season. The slight, very, very slight, small decline right here. You can't even really call this a decline. This is just natural declination. I mean, that's all it is. It's so hard to keep getting better and improving the bar once you've set it so high. So I don't even want to call it a regression. Or what are they wording it in the? Yeah, a regression. They worded a regression in the article. I don't even want to call it a regression. I don't even know what I want to call it because it's not even that, folks. It's not a regression at all. It's a minuscule step. It's a minuscule step. It's not even a step backwards. It's just repositioning your foot. You're standing, you lift up your right foot just to kind of reposition it. It's like a fraction off of what the original position was. You can't even call it a move. So let's see what they're saying in this article, folks. What is the evidence that there is going to be a natural regression here by Josh Allen? So let's read the article right here. Will Josh Allen stay elite? Yes. Yes. So here we go. In his first 2 years in the league, Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen's play was so erratic and unpredictable that it was dubbed, quote, the Josh Allen experience. Accuracy problems and a striking lack of fundamentals plagued 2018's 7th overall pick. But Allen showed flashes of promise as his sophomore season came to a close, giving Bills fans hope for the future. He picked up last season where he left off, turning in not just a good season in 2020, but an unexpectedly elite one, truly elite. I mean, folks, those numbers right there that we just read for the 2020 season of Josh Allen, I would say is easily top 20 overall in NFL history. I would say you might be able to make the argument for top 10. I honestly would stand by that. Totality-wise of the totality body of work of Josh Allen, potentially top 10 quarterback performance of all time. But an unexpectedly elite one. His opponent adjusted total QBR of 81.7 was third in the NFL. I give no credit to QBR numbers. I do not I don't weigh QBR any in my kind of, when I think about what's good and what's bad. I use QBR as nothing. It's a mute point. I do not care. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't care what's in that algorithm that I don't know who originally came up with QBR, NFL or ESPN or whatever it was, but QBR and quarterback rate. There's two different ones. It's QBR and I know quarterback rating stands for QBR, but there's one on the similar lines as that, and we don't pay attention to any of those. So I really don't care about the QBR. I don't put any weight into that. Most explanations for Allen's improvement note his winning attitude and raw potential that was ultimately unlocked through patience and good coaching. It's a nice feel-good story about long odds and hard work, but despite Allen being rewarded with a contract that made him the second highest paid player at his position, at least one NFL decision maker is still unsure if he's the real deal, saying, quote, "He perplexes me," an anonymous personnel director told The Athletic's Mike Sando, quote, "because in my career, I have not seen someone go from as inaccurate as he was in college to making this kind of transition." So you don't believe in him because you haven't seen anything like this before? He was so erratic and then he got better, so you're like, oh, this can't be right? Well, can we talk about Tom Brady? I mean, he went in the 7th round. Nobody was expecting him to be good. And then year 1, when he got his first start, he emerged great. So don't say you haven't seen it before. We've all seen it in Tom Brady. So let's all relax right here. Just because you haven't seen anything and your mind can't even put anything to it. I mean, folks, we were surprised by that last season. We didn't think he was going to be able to do that, but he did it. And now we are buying into it because we don't really see him stepping back in that. He has to deal with the fans in the stands. And if you're telling me that fans in the stands are 100% responsible from the jump of 58% completion percentage to 69, 3,000 yards to 4,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions to 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, I would say you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind that the fans in the stands alone are the cause for this big old jump. There's no way. Maybe a little bit, and that's why I think Josh Allen may take a slight, minuscule foot adjustment this season is because of potentially the fans in the stands. But the pure talent, Josh Allen just showed it, and he showed it in the preseason as well. We watched all of his throws from preseason, and they were looking just as good, if not better, than what he was doing last year. So you're going to hold the man back because you've never seen it before? That's a little lame to say, no? Let's keep here with the article. Projecting college quarterbacks to the NFL is hardly an exact science. Exactly. So why are you using that as an exact science to knock Josh Allen? What sense does that make? That doesn't make any. But accuracy is one trait that seldom learned after a player enters the league. Mike Leach, one of the innovators of the QB-friendly air raid offense, has quipped that you can teach a shortstop to play quarterback more easily than you can teach accuracy in an inaccurate passer. Yet, last year, Allen's accuracy did improve. In 2019, Allen's sophomore season, 23% of his incompletions were charted as off target by ESPN Stats and Information Group, worst in the league. Based on history, we would have expected his below-average performance to continue, but Allen's off-target rate fell dramatically last year to 15.4%, a hair better than league average. That 7.6% point improvement was good for second best in the NFL in 2020, behind only MVP Aaron Rodgers. Perhaps more impressive, Allen's performance represents the 8th largest year-over-year improvement in accuracy since 2006. So once again, like we kind of said, potential top 10 quarterback performance of all time, and they're saying right here his performance represents the 8th largest year-over-year improvement. So that's pretty gosh dang good. The 8th largest year-from-year improvement by Josh Allen. Fantastic. Still, as impressive as Allen's rapid ascent was, it should probably give us pause. Of the 31 players since 2006 to record at least a 5-point improvement in off-target rate, nearly 3/4 saw it rise the following season. Off-target throws that end in incompletions aren't the end of the story, though. Off-frame passes that were thrown high, low, ahead, or behind a target but were still caught, represent another way to quantify Allen's accuracy. By his measure, 2020 was a banner year for the Bills quarterback. Allen threw for 10 touchdowns on 58 plays categorized as, quote, off the frame by the ESPN Stats and Information Group. That compares to just 2 touchdowns on 46 such plays in 2019. Allen's 10 touchdowns in 2020 are tied for second most in a season since 2017. Moreover, Allen's 8 touchdown increase on off-frame throws accounts for 47% of his total year-over-year touchdown improvement. Last 2 paragraphs here we go. Unfortunately for Allen, success on these throws appears to be heavily driven by luck instead of skill. Among Allen's peers who threw 6 or more off-frame touchdowns in a season, 85% saw their touchdown totals fall the next year. In fact, assuming the same volume of catches and average luck, and after adjusting for Allen's yards per attempt, we should expect him to throw for around 4.7 fewer touchdowns in 2021 on those off-frame throws. Allen already beat the odds simply by making it to the NFL. What a lame thing to say, of course. That he led the Bills to 2 playoff wins, inserted himself into the MVP discussion, and followed that up by getting paid like a 1990s rock star are all strong indicators that he's a player you probably shouldn't bet against. Yet, despite this, the evidence suggesting Allen is due for regression is powerful. Will he defy expectations and excel for another year, or will we get a revival of the old Josh Allen experience? So once again, they're just kind of using very, very advanced stats right here to put him in a bubble of what, trend is history. But I mean, folks, he just broke trends. He just broke history. Like I said, I don't know if I've seen a quarterback performance, year 3 leap as great as Josh Allen's. So if we're already saying he's an outlier and everything that we've already said, we're not going to compare him to the not outlier stats that they were comparing him to right there. I don't think that kind of lines up. And the fact that, once again, that they're just basing everything that they just said on pure statistics and saying, well, we've never seen it before, so we can't see it before. We can't see it again. Well, we just said that about Josh Allen. We've never seen a year 3 leap like this before. Tom Brady, we've never seen anything like that before. Twice in, going 7th overall and being so great, and then playing in 44 and still looking elite as heck. So, I mean, there are outliers to everything, and just saying that Josh Allen can't be great because, the stats don't say it, I mean, that's kind of lame to say. We looked at Josh Allen. We see his accuracy. I mean, we look at every single throw by most of these quarterbacks that we talk about, folks, and we watch how he's placing the ball, where he's placing the ball. And what is their criteria for what is off the what was the quote, off the target throws or something like that? What is their exact definition of that? Are they classifying it all the same? Are they getting every single one that's off the mark or only selecting? It's like, when you're going that deep in advanced stats and what constitutes an off-the-mark throw and anything like that, it gets real fuzzy. I mean, we're going real deep, and I don't mind advanced stats. I don't mind them, but when we're using kind of like 5 advanced stats strung together that are kind of on the basis of what people or who the creator is and what is on and not on target throws. I mean, I want to bring it back to this. When I was watching the game from Thursday, Cowboys Bucks, and they were talking about Tom Brady's release time throughout the seasons that he was playing, it was really kind of it really meant nothing. They were showing the plays and, Tom Brady getting the ball out of his hands in 3 seconds or whatever it is, what the arm motion is. And it was like the same throughout his entire career, but what throws were they judging that on? They were just picking like one throw from every season to show, hey, he got the ball out of his hands here in like 3.8 seconds like he does every single season. It's like, yeah, that's one play. I'm sure there's more where he doesn't, and there's some that lag behind. So it's like you're using one play to justify everything, and that's what they're doing here for Josh Allen. What are these plays? Are you counting literally every single play, every single throw that, Josh Allen was off the mark? And are you counting one? Let's just kind of give an example right here that was kind of like 2 yards above the head. Are you counting that as the same that maybe was like 1.5 yard? Like, what is the yard that's so off the mark target that you classify as an off the mark target? So I'm not giving any weight in that article, folks, in those advanced stats. Josh Allen is going to be fantastic. We saw him in preseason. He was looking the same. The accuracy was fantastic. We broke it down. That's on our YouTube channel if you haven't seen it, folks. I mean, we broke down, I think it was preseason game number 2, Josh Allen got in on, and man, oh man, he was slinging the ball around still. And now he's got another great wide receiver to work with, Emmanuel Sanders. So once again, increasing his offensive weapons. And those other quarterbacks that they were comparing Josh Allen to in that article, what was their circumstances for their organization? Were they on a bad team for those years that had no weapons, so they were a little kind of inaccurate because the wide receivers weren't great and being there on time? We can believe in Stephon Diggs, obviously. We can believe in Emmanuel Sanders. So, I mean, the situation here for Josh Allen is literally tailor-made to him. He's got a real smart coach in Sean McDermott and an offensive coordinator that's real smart. They've got weapons all over the place. It's a real great organization overall, Buffalo, top down. I mean, they get it done. So, you can't compare Josh Allen to anybody anybody else that they were trying to, make Josh Allen look like right there. So I'm not buying into that. Josh Allen will still be great. Maybe not as great as last season because it was so gosh dang good, almost very impossible to replicate. A la we just looked at, Aaron Rodgers' stats, and he doesn't really replicate those stats. Aaron Rodgers has like maybe 2 seasons that Josh Allen had, maybe 3 seasons that Josh Allen had, 4 seasons that Josh Allen had. So, I mean, that's real great to compare Josh Allen to Aaron Rodgers like that. So, I'm not buying these advanced stats. Way too advanced for our liking. We're not buying them. Josh Allen will be fine, folks. No big regression. A minuscule foot adjustment for Josh Allen. That's all. That's all. Alrighty, let's keep moving on here. Saquon Barkley, does he say he's ready for week 1? Well, he's at the press conference, folks. We knew it was kind of by yesterday, Friday. That was kind of the last test, and he's ready to rock now, folks. Saquon Barkley is going to potentially be hitting the field week 1 this Sunday. Now, nothing's still kind of definite out here, but he's not saying he's not. So once again, everything's real tight-lipped here by Saquon Barkley. We haven't heard anything bad by today, so that's kind of just telling us he is going to be good for tomorrow, which thank goodness. And the real test is going to be seeing him out on the field come Sunday. So expect Saquon Barkley to be out there week 1. Thank goodness. Hopefully they can get this offense rocking out to a hot start. But now we get this. Giants wide receiver Kenny Golladay. Is he going to play Sunday? He said we'll see. So once again, the Giants and Joe Judge and everybody keeps everything tight-lipped. And I get it. I respect it. I just don't like it because, we want to buy into you. We want to celebrate you. We want to talk about you. We want to hype you up before, you take the field. And, everybody being tight-lipped and saying, yeah, I don't know. I might not. Yeah, we'll see tomorrow. We'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll see what happens tomorrow. We can't do that. So Kenny Golladay still keeping it tight-lipped. Saquon Barkley keeping it tight-lipped. But expect Saquon Barkley to be out there week 1. We're still not really sure what's happening with Kenny Golladay, unfortunately. All right, let's keep going here. We can quickly cover the rest of these. So Jamar Chase tweets out 1-0 2 days ago, and everyone was like, okay, we're assuming that you're meaning, hey, you're going to start the season 1-0. You win the game here against the Vikings. But then Vikings cornerback Chris Boyd quotes the tweet and says, cocaine's a hell of a drug, folks. And I mean, yeah, Jamar Chase, that's a big statement right there to say that we're going to go 1-0 when you can't even catch the ball. I even kind of smurfully tweeted, responded to Jamar Chase 1-0 tweet saying, yeah, 1 catch, or 1 drop, 0 catches. Big talk here by Jamar Chase. We'll see if he can live up to it. Chris Boyd, a little bit of a big talk too because he's not even really a starting cornerback. He's kind of behind Patrick Peterson on the right side of the field. But we'll see who gets the better of them. Bengals, Vikings, smack talk is already talking, and we'll take that. I'm all big about smack talk. I've got no problem with smack talk, and Chris Boyd smacking the talk out of here. So we'll see who gets the better of each other. All right, quick Tom Brady stats right here. That is, once again, absolutely fantastic. So Tom Brady has 300 career starts. His first 150 games, he went 116-34. 116 wins, 34 losses through his first 150 games. His last 150 games, 115-35. He had 1 more loss in the last 150 games than he did than the first 150 games. I mean, folks, geez Louise. I mean, this man's the greatest winner of all time. The stats are right there. His first 150 games, no big deal. His last 150 games, no big deal. His young games, no big deal. His older games, no big deal. The man is still fantastic. Father Time cannot catch up with this man for some reason. And, Tom Brady is going to be facing grandfather time at some point, and that you might not be able to escape grandfather time because grandfather time's, track record is way more elite than father time's. So we'll see what happens here with Tom Brady. But, man, oh man. Look at that, folks. 231 wins overall. 69 losses. I mean, what the hell is that, folks? What the hell is that? Tom Brady's so gosh dang good. Alrighty, the Lions, folks, let's talk about them quickly. So here we go. They're moving Penei Sewell around on the offensive line because they do have an injury at their left tackle spot. So Penei Sewell played left tackle in college. They moved him to the right side here in the NFL, and he has kind of been getting beat a lot. We've seen him in preseason games and practice getting beat in the team versus team practices, in the games as well in the preseason. So Penei Sewell struggling at right tackle, but this is going to be huge for this Lions team come Sunday and could give them a good chance to be competitive in this game. He moves back to the left side where he's more comfortable with, and hopefully whoever they get on that right tackle spot can be serviceable and a little bit better than what Penei Sewell has kind of been showing out here in preseason. So we'll see if the offensive line here for the Lions is a great positive or a bad negative here come this week, and we'll break it down on our Wednesday film study watching the Lions in the 49ers game. But Penei Sewell is going to be on the left side, and if he plays great there, maybe you leave him there. It's going to be interesting to see what this Lions team does, but we'll see what the offensive line does first come Sunday. All right, then we get this quick tweet here. KJ Wright, the linebacker that just signed with the Raiders. We talked about it. He was, part of that Legion of Boom. Seattle just didn't want to bring him back this year, so he goes to the Raiders. But he was just signed like last week. KJ Wright, linebacker, has looked good in all the linebacker drills. And Gus Bradley has been pleased with progress since he joined the team. So potential we see KJ Wright out there come Monday Night Football against the Ravens. But, if he's not good to go for week 1, he's definitely going to be good for week 2. And KJ Wright could be a huge, great piece for this Raiders defense. And we know this Raiders defense is kind of the worst thing about the team overall. The offense is kind of star-studded loaded. So if KJ Wright could be a huge beacon for this defensive Raiders team, this Raiders team really should have no excuses of why they aren't going to be successful. So KJ Wright's looking, like he's ready to rock, and we'll see if he's out there week 1. All right, the Texans officially ruled out quarterback Deshaun Watson. Obviously, we know, and they designated him as a not injury-related kind of scratch. So once again, like we know, they're handling this kind of situation very, very well. They're kind of keeping Deshaun Watson kind of out of the team and out of the media and out of the limelight, so it doesn't overall affect the team on the field and all the distractions and all that. So the Texans can still be successful this season, folks, truly. So they are not going to be playing Deshaun Watson, no thought of playing, and like we know, because he hasn't really ever even been practicing, but they're rocking with Tyrod Taylor, and Deshaun Watson should really not be a distraction for this Texans team the entire year. So we'll see if they can win games because of him not being a distraction. Alrighty. 2 more things quickly here. Tyrann Mathieu is in question of playing this week. The safety for the Chiefs, who we are big time on. Top 3 safety in the league, no doubt. Potentially top 1, you can make the argument. But star safety Tyrann Mathieu is still on the reserve COVID-19 list and did not practice yesterday. He has until 4 p.m. today to activate him. He is vaccinated, so all he needs to be is symptom-free and 2 negative tests. So if he's not cleared by 4 o'clock today, a couple more hours to go, he needs to be symptom-free and return 2 negative tests. If he can do that by 4 o'clock today, he will be able to go for Sunday's game, and we definitely hope so because we want to see him out on the field and we want to see this Chiefs team be good and Tyrann Mathieu get it done. All right, and then the last thing, just kind of quick, what's going to be happening Sunday. Colts have ruled out cornerback Xavier Rhodes with a calf injury, so that's going to hurt on the defensive end. Offensive tackle Eric Fisher with an Achilles injury, and defensive end Kamoko Turi with a groin injury. So not the greatest here by the Colts, losing really kind of elite pieces, a corner, offensive lineman, and an edge rusher. Geez Louise, those are kind of real 3 facets of the game that you really need to be solid for you to be successful. So hopefully the Colts can kind of, fix it together because they're facing the Seahawks, and it's going to be a real gosh dang dogfight out here. Luckily, I believe they are at home, so that's going to make it a little bit easier on this Colts team. But, having a real great opponent at week 1 and some, unfortunate outs here on, some of the top positions for this Colts team, not the greatest. So hopefully they can, get around some of these injuries. So Colts not at 100% strength come week 1. Alrighty, those are all the stories that we needed to go over for today. So let's kind of, end the show on our last second predictions and expectations. After tomorrow, we can't do these anymore because we'll already have a week under our belt, and then our predictions aren't anything because we've already seen something. So what we've been doing the last couple of days here is getting our final predictions and expectations on what we think is going to be happening in the NFL season. We already have some good ones out here. I want to say maybe 20 plus. We can run through them maybe quickly right here. Derrick Henry breaks the single season rushing record. Really want to see him at 2,200 yards. Darren Waller will be the number 1 tight end in the league at the end of the season. Jamar Chase will not catch a single pass. Najee Harris will be top 3 running backs at the end of the season. Colts versus Rams in our Super Bowl pick. Colts winning the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs take a slight step back. They lose in the first or second playoff game. Father Time doesn't catch Tom Brady. Why did I say Ryan Fitzgerald? Ryan Fitzpatrick. Let me fix this. Good thing that we're double checking these, right? Ryan Fitzpatrick is who we thought he is. 50-50 for Washington. Doesn't win the division or make the playoffs because Ryan Fitzpatrick wasn't the game manager needed for the defense to control the game. Lions, Dan Campbell, to be successful this season, we need to see 4 wins, not too many blowout losses that we classify as 14 plus points. Sean McVay, to be successful, he needs to have a top 5 offense, has to get to the NFC Championship game. Daniel Jones, to be successful, minimum 65% completion percentage, 4,000 yards, and 28 touchdowns, 10 or less interceptions. Saquon Barkley is going to be a top 3 running back by the end of the season. Justin Fields makes his debut week 3 after Andy Dalton Bengals revenge game. Robert Saleh's successful seasons. 5 wins, not too many blowouts that we classify as 13 plus points. Urban Meyer to be successful this season. 6 wins, 2 blowouts max that we classify as 13 plus points. Fans back in the stands will play a big role again. Lower completion percentage by younger quarterbacks, comparing 2020 comp percentage to 2021 completion percentage. Jalen Waddle will be the best wide receiver after the year's done of his draft class. Joe Burrow is going to look the least impressive after year 2 from his draft class to Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert. Teddy Bridgewater's successful year, 67% completion percentage, 4,000 yards, 25 passing touchdowns, 10 or fewer interceptions. Sam Darnold's successful season, 65% completion percentage, 4,000 yards, 25 passing touchdowns, 10 or fewer picks. Matt Rule's successful season, 9 wins plus, 2 blowouts max that we classify as 10 or more points. And then Dan Quinn's defense is going to be atrocious, and we kind of classify it as a bottom 25. So are there any that we're missing? Any that we just didn't put down on our list? Our final thoughts. Let's keep it going here, and I want to have an Aaron Rodgers one because we classify this as kind of Aaron Rodgers' fuck it season. We don't expect him back, and, we think he's just going to let the ball fly. So we think Aaron Rodgers will throw his most interceptions in a season, folks. We really think he's going to let the thing fly this season. So let's go into his stats and see what his highest interception season was, because we think he's going to break it come this season. So here we go. We're just going to rattle off year 1 through last season. Here we go. This is the number of interceptions that he's thrown. 13, 7, 11, 6, 8, 6, 5, 8, 7, 6, 2, 4, 5. So the most he's thrown in a season was his first season starting, 13. We think he throws more than 13 interceptions. More than 13. Think he's going to let it fly. His fuck it year, let it fly. Fuck it year, let it fly. Alrighty. What else do we got? Let's look at these teams. Seahawks, all right. Russell Wilson, we expect them to be good. Pete Carroll, they'll be fine. Rams, we already have, for Sean McVay. Cardinals, we need them to be a playoff team. And, we're only kind of writing down, the more important ones, exactly what we've been saying and kind of seeing and tracking all off season. We're not going to write down every single thought that we have on every single team for them to be successful, just kind of the big narratives that we have been focusing on and tracking. The 49ers, well, now that we have the dual quarterback system, we need kind of Kyle Shanahan to really kind of be solid this season, especially if he's going to go with the two quarterbacks. We need him to kind of be very good in the division and really kind of win a playoff game, really kind of, try to get back to the NFC Championship game. The Saints, Jameis Winston. All right, we got to put a bar for Jameis Winston. We got to put an interception bar at Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, interception bar to call it a successful season. We really need to see 15 or less. I'll give him 15 picks. I will give Jameis Winston 15 interceptions. I was thinking about giving him 20, but still 20 is way too high. 15 is really kind of the cutoff max. That was kind of the, now we're starting to get into kind of, comical territory, really kind of getting the 20s. If you throw 20 interceptions in a season, you're not a good quarterback, unfortunately. I think the highest last season was Drew Lock and Carson Wentz, both at 15. So we really have to put that bar at Jameis Winston at 15. We will allow and accept 15 interceptions by Jameis Winston. Can't give him any more, though. Alrighty, what else we got here? The Bucs, Tom Brady, we already have something on him. The Panthers, we already have something on Matt Rule and Sam Darnold. Atlanta Falcons. Alrighty, I'm going to do this because Arthur Smith, he is the new coach here for Atlanta Falcons. He was the offensive coordinator for the last 2 years with the Titans, so he knows. He's worked with Derrick Henry and got that running game. And the running back that he chose specifically was Mike Davis. So Arthur Smith must make the most out of Mike Davis, running back, because that's who he chose. He had Le'Veon Bell out there. Had Le'Veon Bell as an option. Other free agent running backs he passed on. So he better hope Mike Davis can turn into a 1,000-yard back. We don't know if he can. Arthur Smith seems kind of big on him if he's keeping him this far. So, and really no other running backs on that team. So Arthur Smith better hope that Mike Davis can work out. All right, Washington, Ryan Fitzpatrick, we already have something on him. Giants, we already have something on Daniel Jones. Cowboys, we have something on Mike. Do we have something on Mike McCarthy? Did we say something about Mike McCarthy? We did something on Dan Quinn. Mike McCarthy, we'll judge him week to week, really, to see how that's going. The Eagles, Nick Sirianni, that's already a headline. Should we do a standard for a Nick Sirianni successful season? Let's do that. Let's go to Nick Sirianni, year one successful season. All right, so here we go. Let's bring up the Eagles schedule. We got to kind of see what winnable games they have, and then we will build what a successful season looks like for this Eagles team. All right, so here we go. Falcons is a winnable game. Panthers is a winnable game. Lions is a winnable game. Chargers is a winnable game. Broncos, I don't know about that. True winnable. Giants is a winnable game. Jets is a winnable game. Washington's a winnable game. Giants is again. Washington is again. Cowboys really probably not at that potential yet. So kind of 9 winnable games here, but that's real high to give them that bar for 9 wins year one. But I'm going to kind of say 6 wins. Are there still 6 wins? You split against the Giants. You split against Washington. That's 2. You beat the Falcons. You beat the Panthers. You beat the Lions. I'm going to put it at kind of like 5. I'll lower the bar to 5. We need to see really 5 wins, 5+ wins here by Nick Sirianni. I want to go into what they did last season, blowouts-wise. Because if you have a lot of blowouts, that's going to be, bad against you that you're not even competitive. So let's see what the Eagles did last season, how many blowouts they had last season under Doug Peterson, who, he's kind of succeeding. So here we go. Philadelphia last season. Let's see blowouts. Blowouts we kind of classify as kind of anything more than 10 points. All right, so here we go. Game 1, they lose by 10 to Washington. They lose by 16 to the Rams. 18 to the Rams. Jeez. They tie the Bengals, so that's 2 blowouts so far. They lose by 9 against the Steelers. They lose by 2 against the Ravens. They lose by 10 against the Giants. They lose by 5 against the Browns. We were at 3 with the 10 with the Giants. We're at 6 against the Seahawks. They lose by 14 against the Packers. That's 4. They lose by 7 against the Cardinals. They lose by 20 against the Cowboys. That's another. They lose by 6 against Washington. So they had 5 blowouts last season. Jeez Louise. So we will give him 4 blowouts of 10 plus points. No more. All right. What else do we get here? Anything else we're missing? Aaron Rodgers with the Packers. We already got something on them. The Bears, we already have a prediction with Justin Fields. Matt Nagy's on the hot seat. We need to call it a successful season. Yeah, let's put up Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy, successful season. Don't care who you play. Andy Dalton the entire season. Justin Fields from week 1 on. I don't care. But Nick Sirianni, successful season. Because he's on the hot seat, folks. Truly on the hot seat. So let's go to his schedule quickly. No. We don't need to go to the schedule. He needs to win a playoff game. Needs to win a playoff game. I don't care how you do it. Needs to win a playoff game. That's what we'll classify as a successful year for this Bears team and Matt Nagy. They must win a playoff game. That's all there is to it. Nothing else will be good for Matt Nagy. You need to win a playoff game here. The Vikings. They just got to kind of figure out their identity. We'll kind of track them this season. We don't really have a big overarching successful year. We'll just see what happens with the Vikings. Lions, Dan Campbell, we already have a successful season for him. The Titans, we got Derrick Henry prediction. The Colts, we expect them to win the Super Bowl. The Texans, who cares, honestly? It's unfortunate, but honestly, who cares about the Texans this season? Maybe they can interest us. If they're competitive this year, we can buy into them, but we don't really care overall with the Texans. The Jaguars, we have an Urban Meyer win, successful win. The Bills, do we have a Josh Allen take here? I guess we can do this Josh Allen take that we just kind of said earlier today. Josh Allen. He's going to have a minuscule. We classified it as minuscule foot adjustment. Minuscule foot adjustment. No step back, no regression. It's a minuscule foot adjustment from Josh Allen from last season to this season. All right, the Dolphins. Tua proves everybody wrong. Tua proves everyone wrong. Undoubtedly regarded as top 10 QB by season's end. The man's got the accuracy. We believe in Tua. Tua proves everybody wrong, besides us, because we were right on Tua. All right, the Patriots. Now that they got Mac Jones at the starter, no real big expectations on them. Just a little bit of expectations on Bill Belichick to win because, he's going against Tom Brady and legacy and all that. The Jets, we have a Robert Saleh successful season. The Steelers, we think Najee Harris is going to be great. The Ravens, we're just going to be tracking Lamar Jackson. The Browns, once again, we're just believing in Kevin Stefanski to get it done with Baker Mayfield. The Bengals, we already got something on Joe Burrow. He looks the most lackluster out of his quarterback class. The Chiefs, we already have something on them. They take a slight step back. The Raiders, John Gruden. Yeah, let's put that on here. John Gruden, successful year. Successful season for John Gruden. Win a playoff game. There is nothing else. Win a playoff game. Yes, get 2-1, obviously, but you must win it. Win a playoff game for John Gruden to call it a successful year. The Chargers, we got Justin Herbert. We think he's going to be fantastic. Do we got something on Jay Herb? We just think he's going to be great. We already classify him as kind of number 2 quarterback in the league already. So we'll just keep an eye on him. And then the Denver Broncos, we have a successful win season outlined for Teddy Bridgewater. So, all right, I'm feeling confident that we've got everything that we wanted to get out here on this list. It all starts tomorrow. The list will officially close tomorrow. and I think we have it all down of what kind of we truly expect to see, and some good ones on here. So we will probably, I'm not sure if we're going to track this the entire season or kind of midway, and then after the season, we'll see how, it unfolds and all that. But yeah, I think we are good on our 2021 NFL season predictions and expectations. Alrighty, that is going to do it for us today, folks. We're back tomorrow. We are going to be on at 11 a.m. instead of noon Eastern tomorrow. Only will go for an hour, just kind of, our last second show to clear everything up, get our kind of final thoughts of what is going to happen this week and all of that, and see what, who's in and out real early on, and just talk it through about an hour show, our pregame show, and then, it's Sunday, and we get to spend the entire day watching football, and then we'll be back on the Monday breaking it all down. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We're back tomorrow, 11 a.m. just for this one day. We're back at noon Eastern every other Sunday after that. Let's see if anything is breaking as we were live. It's Saturday. Usually nothing's breaking, but we got football in tomorrow, so maybe something did break. What do we got? We got anything good? We got nothing good. Okay. So we will be out of here. We are going to be out of here, folks. We'll see you tomorrow. The best day of the year. First Sunday back. We'll see you tomorrow.